In the studio with WRCA, the Working Ranch Cowboys Association. Lehman and Casey are in here with me. How's it going, guys?
Good, Craig. How you doing?
Good morning, Craig.
I guess I should say y'all.
Well, you guys. You guys works good with me.
This ain't New York City, Craig.
That's right. We're going to try and do this every week. We're going to talk about what rodeo went on, how it went, maybe get somebody on the phone. I believe we're going to have Willie on the phone here in just a little bit. But I'm going to let Lehman take this away. Green Country Classic Ranch Rodeo in Claremore, Oklahoma over the weekend, right?
Yeah, really great rodeo for us up in that part of Oklahoma. It was Friday and Saturday, two-go rodeo. It's a very competitive event. Some of the best ranches that we've got in our family compete up there. In fact, several of them are previous qualifiers to the World Championship Ranch Rodeo. And you mentioned Willie. That team, actually, they're kind of a good luck charm in that country. It's their second time in a row to win the Green Country Classic. So Casey was actually at that rodeo, so she's got a first-hand knowledge of kind of the inside scoop on what went on some of those events. But, yeah, it's kind of a nice thing to get to come talk to you guys about our sanctioned rodeos and kind of give you the scoop if you weren't able to be there. So Green Country Classic. Casey, we had 16 teams at that rodeo, and kind of talk us through first through third, kind of what you see there.
Absolutely. Kudos, actually, to the Green Country Classic board of directors. You know, a lot of those individuals that are on the board are ranchers themselves and have been part of that Green Country Classic since their inception into our association as a sanctioned ranch rodeo. And Friday night started out like normal, getting all the wrinkles out, you know, the first time out and in the sorting, you saw little bitty squirty cattle and everyone's trying to figure out how things are going to move. But I want to brag a little bit on Baron Highsmith. You know, in the Friday night will set your course. And just because you're doing really good Friday night, Saturday can be a whole different ball game. And just like with any event, it's all luck of the draw. So in the milking Friday night, you know, they drew a really sappy cow and big old soggy headhunter. And then they go down to the bottom of the pen. And actually, it was Corey Highsmith that laid a loop on her and was actually able to take her back to the circle, not on purpose. It just kind of ended up that way. Let's just make that clear for Lester's sake, because it did not happen on purpose. And then as a team, you know, they're just like bees to honey. They just flock in there. And they almost forgot to take the rope off. At every sanctioned rodeo, as you see us go through this whole deal of Rodeo Minute, every sanctioned rodeo has their own little twist that's similar to their country. Right. So on that rope, on their milking event, you have to take the rope and the milk with you to the circle. Right. Well, unlike the championship or unlike the rodeo down the road, some of them just bring the milk. Yeah. Some of them bring half of themselves back, you know, literally half of themselves. But Corey had licked one on there, and he was already coiling his rope, and someone just said, oh, crap, you know, let's go back, jerk it off. And he's like, why is everyone taking my rope back, you know? But second place, you know, as time goes on, it was first Baron Highsmith and Short Ranch won that rodeo. Again, as Lehman said. Second place was Haywire Cattle Company out of El Dorado, Kansas. And third was JLB Ranch out of Douglas, Kansas. So you had an Oklahoma and two Kansas. Yeah. And, you know, what's really cool about this, and one of my personal favorite deals, is everyone, well, not every sanctioned rodeo, but let's just say the majority honor the top hand and the top horse at these ranch rodeos. And that's quite winning the rodeo is a cool thing. Right. A great thing. Yeah. But when you receive top hand honors in front of your peers and your guys you work with every day. So shout out to Lane Steerwalt out of Gray G Bar. You know, he's a young kid. He might be 20. And we've watched him grow up from the time his dad, Shane Steerwalt, had him at rodeos and working. And he was quite the hand at 8 years old, you know. Yeah. And he won top hand at that deal. And then Gray G Bar came back with another deal with Top Horse, ridden by Jason Vogel, Play T Cat. And so shout out to Scott Gray. Actually, let's just say that. Yeah. And then we had I want to clarify this. A lot of times a rodeo can be won down to the bronc riding.
Mm-hmm.
And Don Reno and Mark Owens, they have OMAC Rodeo Company, and they do a lot of sanctioned rodeos in that part of the country. They bought some snapping kickers. And, Corey and Baron Highsmith drew one, and it was just perfectly consistent, but they had to sweat it out there. They had to sweat it out and get there. But other than that, it was a great time to be had, and a lot of we came out with all our fingers and all our ears.
There you go. But, that's the most important part.
Couple things broke, but that is ranch rodeo and its best. So
how was the crowds and the weather good up there?
Weather was good. It was the first time that I've been up there that there hadn't been tornado sirens going off or snow or what have you. And what real quick, what's unique is about ranch rodeo, and you'll see this across the whole schedule with us, is a lot of these guys are on different teams competing with the WRCA card. But they've just finished branding with another rancher helping them out.
Wow.
And then they're competing against their same hombres that they worked with, right? And so, it's the first rodeo for that part of the country in northeastern Oklahoma to come together. And they came out and they've done their spring works together. They branded and all this stuff, or getting ready to. And then when it comes into that competition, it gets a little personal. And then the next day they got to go gather with them, So they get ribbed outside the arena too about it.
Lehman, you got any more results than that, or she got you? You're gonna have to pay her way to make sure she gets to go to all of these, man. She just did a great job. I don't have to do anything. I stand over here.
Yeah, that's the good thing, man. That's the good thing. No, as Casey said, it's a great rodeo, and kudos to Willie Barron and Corey and all the guys at Barron Highsmith Short for getting another chance to come win the World Championship.
Well, let's talk to Willie. On the phone it is. We've got Willie Barron from Barron Highsmith and Short Ranch. Willie, I've got Lehman and Casey here in the studio with us. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Good.
I'll let you Lehman's got the whole spreadsheet in front of him here, and it's multicolored highlighted.
Oh, it's really high tech. It's like ESPN over here, Craig.
That's right.
Man, congratulations, Willie. Won it for a second year in a row. That's got to feel great.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Thanks for getting us on here too. But it was a good little weekend. It was good. We got off to a good start, and sometimes those 2-day rodeos are tough to keep everything on the tracks, but we lucked out and had a good time. Yeah,
and looking at the scores and times, we'll talk about the milking here in a minute. There's something there we want to kind of pick the scab at a little bit, but looking at times and scores, it looks like, Willie, the name of the game is to be consistent. You don't have to win every single event, but, you guys were right there in the running in every single one. When you go into one of these ranch rodeos, is that kind of what you're telling yourself? You're like, guys, just, do what we do every day and let's just go in there and be consistent, or how do y'all approach it?
Yeah, you dang sure you got to be consistent, especially when you're in a rodeo that it gives away some average points at the end. But at the same hand, you kind of got to take what it gives you. And, you start out, you just want to get in there and go make a good run in the sorting and kind of get started. And, these things are so competitive now, and they've gotten so tough with all the younger guys and stuff that are just rapid in some of these events, that you got to be consistent, but you also kind of got to push the envelope a little bit if you want to compete. And so it's a little bit of both. So much of it's the draw. If you can draw good and get along good, then you're going to be fast. Where it gets frustrating is when you draw a bad cow, or when you draw, you got a couple in the sorting that are bad and you're doing everything right. But it still doesn't work. And that happens so much. And most of the time, the teams that win these deals are the ones that put themselves in a position to have good luck, really. And it's so much of it's luck. Heck, any team that was at Claremore could have won that deal. And we were just fortunate to kind of be in the right place at the right time. And, we were talking, I think you talk about being consistent there. We won it last year and this year, obviously. And last year we got a time and a score in every event as well. So we're on a pretty good little streak at Claremore. We need to make sure the WRCA keeps that one going.
Yeah. we hadn't actually talked about, Craig, how ranch rodeo is a little different than what folks would see at a regular PRCA or professional rodeo.
Yeah, I know. Like every year we try to tell people about, these are not, these guys get up and, as Casey was talking about, they might be working the day before, the day of, and have to get up and go to work the next day. Like these are actually working. That working part of the WRCA is an important part of this.
Yeah, that's a big deal, Casey. And Willie, the things that you do in that arena, while they may be in an arena, it's tries to mirror what you guys have to do day in and day out. May not always have to chase a wild cow around, but I mean, other than that, things are pretty similar to what you do. You guys talk at all, kind of strategize? Is there any way to practice for any of this stuff, or do you just do what you do?
Man, I can tell you we don't practice mugging cows. But, a lot of it, we try to get in, to the arena a little bit before, but none of us spend a bunch of time in there. I used to rodeo growing up and actually went to school at West Texas A&M down there and rodeoed in college, but I didn't. Nowadays, it's just you don't really have you're not going to go and work all day and drag calves or go to spring working and then get done and say, okay, now let's go rope. So much of it's just getting to do it during the day and taking care of the operation and maybe get in the arena a couple times before one of these deals just to kind of, maybe just get your horse a little more locked in. We're fortunate enough we got a cutting pin that we'll drag about 25 yearlings into it and kind of get our horses a little bit tuned up. But, yeah, the only thing I can tell you is if we're going to go doctor a cow, we're dang sure going to heal it. We ain't going to jump off and grab her head.
Hey, Willie, I'm all about the kind of the sentimental side of things, and outside of competing and outside of fast isn't easy or money's on the time and time. We can rope everything all day in the pasture, but when you put time and money against it, it all kind of goes out the window. But I want to kind of brag a little bit about Baron Highsmith and how Corey and Willie, and there's one in there that I really have a lot of respect for, and Armando Rodriguez has been with Corey and Willie, my gosh, ever since I've been here with the association and foundation. And that man and his brother are gold. And I just want you to just kind of brag on him a little bit, because he's not going to brag on himself.
No.
And, salt of the earth, but he's like the silent striker out there in the arena. He'll come out of nowhere and get you.
Yeah, he's so handy. He's probably mid-50s, Casey, I'd say.
Yeah.
And you talk about a guy that gets up and does it every day. Yeah. Runs probably 2,000 yearlings, and the only people that are there are him and his wife, and then he has this day worker, Jake, that comes in periodically, but he's so wicked, and every year we sit around I shouldn't say every year, but when we're fortunate enough to go to the finals in Amarillo, when we get done, we sit around the stalls and figure out what we're going to do next year, and Armando's always, oh man, if you guys don't want me, I won't do this. I'm getting pretty old.
Yep.
And we all just look at him. We just look at him and tell him to shut up.
Yeah.
And get ready for next year, because he's a crucial part of it. I put him against anybody in the milking as far as how fast he is. He's so good at getting the milk, and I know that sounds underrated, but it makes everybody's job so much easier on the ground when you got somebody that gets in there and can milk fast. And I really think between him and Jake, that's the reason that we get along so good in that event. But he always rides good horses. He's always in the right position. He never tries to be flashy. He's just solid. I mean, he's just solid. And I'm going to tell you, I not to interrupt you, but I'll brag on him in the sorting Saturday night. The cattle were a little bit, we had two in there, dang sure, with Testy, and gave a lot of people no times. And me and Armando were on one side, and I was in the herd sorting, and it was our last cow, or last yearling to get out, and I tried to get a little greedy, and I was going to bring two to Armando, and our deal is if I bring two to them, they just try to blow both of them right back over the top of me, and I'll sort the one off that we need. Mm-hmm. And I sure enough grabbed two of them, and one of the ones I grabbed was one of them wild ones, and I put Armando in a bind like he's never been in, and sure enough, he just stayed right there and whacked this sucker off, and we got a time, but that was all because of him.
Absolutely, and last year, I don't know if he remembers telling me this or not, but he said, "Well, what time is the team meeting?" And I said, well, you got to be there by Thursday. He said, okay, if I'll wake up by 5, I got work and then I'll head that way. But if I'm late, I'll get there. But you tell Corey and Willie, I'll be there. He goes, but I'm getting too old for this. I said, dadgummit, Armando, stop. And he said it again. He's going to be with us forever. I don't care if we got to put him in I don't know what he does, but we got to figure to keep him on. But he's been with them. He's been a part of their winning equation for several years. And if you always want to see a true character of a man and a true working ranch cowboy. All these guys on Baron Highsmith have my utmost respect. And, if you see them walking around, their kids are friendly. And I'll just leave it at that. We'll cover that maybe at the end of the year. They got some awesome kids, man.
I appreciate that, Casey.
Well, Willie, congratulations, bud. We're happy to have you come back to Amarillo. And
man, I appreciate that.
Yeah, tell the guys congratulations for us.
I'll do it. Guys, thank you so much.
Be careful.
Thanks, Willie.
You too.
Adios.
Thanks.
Sounds like a good guy. And the pressure's off for them, I guess, because that's the deal, is you got to win one to get qualified for the World Championships in November, right?
That's right. Yes, sir. You win, you get that invitation. Willie and them will probably go to some other rodeos, but now they can just sit back and have fun and not have that pressure.
Not goof off, but they can.
Absolutely
Yeah,
not.
they can breathe a little easier. That's for sure. Then, right?
Don't kid yourself. They'll come to ride, but that pressure's off.
We got to stay sharp, as Casey said off the air. Was talking about got to stay tuned up for the finals. I mean, November's still a long ways off. If you just kind of, I guess, went about your daily and didn't do anything until November, you might be a little slower. Might be a little. Is it better to qualify later then? Is it?
Well, you'll see a kind of a change come September.
Right.
You'll see them starting to get a little antsier.
Yeah.
And the ones that qualified are going to want to keep their team in a cohesive unit.
Yeah.
So they're going to want to keep trying to go.
Yeah.
But then, outside of other events or outside of other rodeos, these guys can practice at home.
Yeah.
But when you're up against time and money, a lot of stuff goes out the door.
Yeah.
You can rope all day long in the pasture and slap some really slick stuff on, but then when you're against time and money, everything goes out the door and you just feel stupid.
Right.
But I think, if I'm not mistaken, Lehman, Willie and Corey or Baron Highsmith and Short Ranches are up in Kim, which is this coming weekend.
Kim, Colorado this weekend. What's that one normally like, Lehman?
Well, Kim is an interesting location because most of the ranches have to take teepees and bedrolls. There's no hotels. There's no restaurants.
Roughing it for real,
It truly is.
Yeah.
And a lot of the guys really like that because they kind of get away from town a little bit. But it's a really competitive rodeo. It's going to be in Colorado, so we're going to have some new parts of the country coming to compete.
A little higher altitude with that one too. A little bit of deeper.
We don't quite get into
not quite up there. Yeah,
it's kind of southeastern Colorado. So we'll see some New Mexico ranches, Nebraska ranches, some Kansas and Colorado ranches. So it kind of be being in Oklahoma and in the northeastern part with Claremore, and now we're going to go into Colorado. It'll be fun to see some different ranches.
I was going to say almost like a completely different rodeo from week to week that way, just because of location.
Yes, sir. And to say that, there's kind of moving parts to that because every geographical area brings different challenges. So cattle are going to be different. The horses are going to buck a little bit different than they do, and these guys they might have not branded their calves yet, whereas they've already pitched 500 heel loops, if plus. So you're coming into a whole different time, and that's what makes it so cool about our sanctioned rodeos is you got Claremore, we had Arizona, the first one. That's a different ball wax. Then you go into Claremore, northeastern Oklahoma. That's a whole different ball wax. Now you're coming back into southeastern Colorado.
Right.
And those cattle, everything's a new little challenge. It's not a consistent, we don't have the same stock contractors hauling at every one. It's the anticipation and not knowing. And the guys kind of like that.
Yeah.
The guys kind of like that challenge.
The change,
they like that
yeah.
camaraderie between the different parts of the ranches coming together.
Pretty cool. Yeah. I would rather rodeo personally in Kim, Colorado than I would in Wichita Falls in August.
Heck yeah.
Wichita Falls is indoor and air conditioned.
Oh,
so
never
that's
mind.
A different deal.
Never mind. Take it back. Take it back.
Yeah, that's funny. But we got 20 more chances, Craig. 20 more rodeos for these ranches to get qualified. World Championships will be November 8th through the 11th in Amarillo. You guys better start paying attention. Tickets go on sale June 1. We're just about 30 days away from there, and they go fast. So kind of be looking for ticket date June 1.
On that same note, you got 20 more chances to see some of these rodeos too. And then no matter where you are, I mean, there's one probably coming near you somewhere, whether it's in Meade, Kansas, or Wichita Falls, like we talked about, Earth, Texas, up in, I see WRCA on here, and Council Grove, Kansas, and Hugo, Colorado. There's one near you. So if you're listening and you're not somebody who normally goes to the rodeo, but now we got your interest peaked, please go, because you're supporting a great cause, too. You're supporting the Working Ranch Cowboys Association. So.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And if you're tired of looking at brown grass, go up to Arthur, Nebraska, where it's belly high.
Also, get on to cowhandsupplyhouse.com for all your merch. Your WRCA merch, and 25% discount for members on online orders. So a lot of you listening are probably would be online orders unless you live in Amarillo and you can run down the street and get you a new coffee mug or something. And you're probably ordering online anyway. So definitely WRCA.org, or just for the merchandise, cowhandsupplyhouse.com, but WRCA.org for rodeo results and news and info, and just more info about the organization and all the great things that WRCA does. And hopefully we're going to make this a weekly thing. Well, hopefully that one was a success, actually.
Yeah. Craig, we appreciate you letting us tell our story.
You bet. It's great to have you guys in the studio. And Casey, we're going to have to come up with some sort of thing to send you to every rodeo, make you the official WRCA rodeo reporter, because you're definitely an asset.
Well, I appreciate that. And those of you that got your ears on out there, all these things that we talk about, comes with all the challenges and hiccups of everyday life that these gals and guys are faced with. So if ever you want to put your money to a good cause, we have that foundation side of what we do. So we live radical, but we do care. And, we're a hand up, not a handout. And so if you want to make a difference, just holler at the office, ask for me or Lehman and Peyton, and we'll get you hooked up.
And also, we'd like to give a huge thanks out to our sponsors, Wrangler, for supporting our Top Hand of the Week award, and to Titan Fuel Tanks, that is the presenting sponsor of our sanctioned ranch rodeo results each week. Really appreciate their help.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can't downplay the importance of sponsors like that. Just on a monthly, weekly, yearly, daily basis. What they contribute is important beyond words, I would imagine. Absolutely. For you guys in the foundation. And actually, if anybody else out there is listening who would like to become one of those sponsors,
you bet. Yes, sir.
They would love to have you. So a big thanks to all the sponsors. All right, we'll do this again next week.
Adios.
In the early days across the Texas Panhandle, cowboys rode watch over their herds and helped grow this country through their strong work ethic. Not much has changed, because today's working ranch cowboy is still saddling up every day to protect the Western way of life and the values carried on for generations. The Working Ranch Cowboys Association provides a voice to today's cowboy. Help us keep Western values alive and well in America. Visit WRCA.org for more information. Join us. Become a member of WRCA today.
The WRCA Cowhand Supply House has something for everyone. Visit cowhandsupplyhouse.com to find all your WRCA merchandise. Shirts and outerwear for adults and Little Puncher t-shirts for the kids are just a few of the items you'll find at Cowhand Supply House. Be sure and check out the new line of WRCA coffee mugs, perfect for that early morning coffee or a gift for a special friend. WRCA members receive 25% off all online orders. Show your